Y'all, summer is coming, and that means it's time for the free summer learning series. This is your low stress, go at your own pace summer PD with brand new expert presentations dropping every Tuesday and Thursday from June through July. We're talking AI, creative classroom strategies, and practical tools you can use today. No live sessions, no pressure, just learning on your schedule. Register for free at shakeuplearning.com/summer. And all access members get bonus sessions and credit certificates. Don't miss out.
Welcome to the Shake Up Learning Show, where it's all about shaking up your old static lessons and blending tried and true instructional strategies with the power of technology to create dynamic learning experiences for your students. Whether you're a newbie or a tech expert, you're guaranteed to walk away with new ideas and strategies you can use in class tomorrow. And now here's your host, that sassy Southern belle and EdTech expert, Casey Bell.
What's shaking, y'all? Welcome to episode 248 of the Shake Up Learning Show. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today we are talking about one of my favorite AI tools right now. And honestly, I think it's going to change the way you create content for your classroom. We are diving into Gamma, Gamma. And if you haven't heard of it yet, buckle up because by the end of this episode, you're going to want to drop everything and try it. Before we get started today, I want to send a huge shout out to all of the new members of our All Access membership. We have had so many people joining, especially with the upcoming summer learning series. And I am so excited to have you on board so you can enjoy those bonus sessions and get those credit certificates this summer. So if you are interested in learning more about either of those things, you can go to our show notes and find a link to register for free for the summer learning series and go to member.shakeuplearning.com to learn all about our teacher membership. It's time for our AI tip of the week. And I want to be specific about Gamma today because before we talk about this, we really need to talk about your prompting because prompting will still very much matter inside of Gamma. The better your prompt, the better your results. And we've been saying that now for a long time. And prompting has gotten easier, meaning AI is getting a lot smarter at figuring out what you want, especially the more you train it and the more you use it, no matter which tool you're using. And Gamma has given me some great results and some okay results. So all of that had to do with my prompt. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? You're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I should have added that to my prompt. And one of the great things that you'll learn in today's episode is you can go and adjust those things in your prompts. But let's talk about a tool like Gamma or really any AI tool. And you type something super vague, like make a presentation about science. Or even if you said specifically, make a presentation about the water cycle, you're going to get a pretty generic result. But if you say, create a 10-slide presentation for 8th grade students on the phases of mitosis, include key vocabulary, real-world connections, and a review question on the last slide, now that's going to get you something you can probably use. I would even expand on that even more. The more time you spend on your prompt, the less time you will spend in editing. So the time-saving aspect of using a tool like Gamma to create your presentations is really tied to how much work you put into that prompt. And these tools have gotten dramatically better at creating than when we first started. And you can even go back to a previous episode I did on a comparison of the presentation tools. And it was called, what was it called? AI generated presentations, the good, the bad, and the ugly, which was episode 240. So today we're going to take a deeper dive into that. But back to our tip, okay? Think of all the details you put into a lesson plan: the grade level, the subject, the audience, the purpose, the tone. If you are someone who delivers presentations to teachers in a professional learning setting, I want you to think of the same things. Who is your audience? What is the purpose of the presentation? If this is something you have already written, say, a description for, and you have an outline for, use that. You're going to learn that you can add those things into Gamma and let it use what you've already created to generate the presentation. Now, specific instructions are magic. So I want you to keep that in mind. That is the number one takeaway for today's episode. So if you learn anything about creating AI generated slides, no matter what tool you're using, I want you to think specifics. Okay, so we are talking about Gamma. If you want a video tutorial, let me know. So that is something that I have been planning to create and get up on the YouTube channel. I think that I could do a quick tutorial and show you how this works. But of course, we are listening to an audio podcast. And if you want to take notes or stop and open your computer while you're listening, I will be doing that where you can kind of click along and see where everything is. So Gamma is the AI-powered tool that can create beautiful presentations. I say can create beautiful presentations, documents. It can even create web pages. And what makes it different from, say, slides or PowerPoint is that it doesn't just give you that blank canvas and say good luck. It actually designs it for you. And you tell it what you want, and it builds the whole thing: layout, content, visuals, and all. Side note, I will say that I have been using Gemini more for creating these things, and I think Google has come a long way in this respect. But I think the design elements of Gamma are so much more elevated than even what's available in Google Slides that it's really like comparing apples and oranges. And I know how much of my life I have spent probably in Google Slides or even PowerPoint back in the day, creating these, and now, creating a lot in Canva. I have spent so many hours, both on the content side of trying to get it where it's valuable, but also trying to make sure that it looks good. How many things work faster now in terms of design, being able to use themes and update colors and fonts and do all those things so much faster instead of having to go slide by slide, which we used to have to do many years ago. I am very old now, I feel like, but the amount of time that I would spend on a presentation today is very different because AI can help me with every step of the way, and it can still have all of the Casey Bell voice and Casey Bell tips that I would normally share. So I want to create a professional looking presentation. I want to create it in under 2 minutes from a text prompt. That is the dream, right? Okay, so here's the thing. Gamma isn't just going to be able to give you a slideshow. Gamma is a much more flexible, is the best word I can think of, program, application, whatever you want to call it. So you can, of course, create, lesson presentations for your class. You can create handouts. You can create reference guides, newsletters, materials, unit overview, course guides, syllabus, all the things. And because you can quickly turn it into a website, you can share it kind of like you share things now, even from Google or Canva, the anyone with a link can view kind of thing. You've got a lot of options with this. So if you create content as a teacher, and I know you do, Gamma is for you. And by the way, if you're looking for the link, I want you to go to shakeuplearning.com/Gamma. I have a special link for you where you can try this out, get an account, get into the free plan, and try this as we go. This is one of those, what they call freemium apps. And so far, I personally have not paid for it yet. I think I will, though. I really do, because the more I use it, the more I find value in it. And if it saves me tremendous amounts of time, then time is money to me. That's how I see it. And I really hope that more teachers and more schools will see tools like this valuable enough to help teachers get it. So the free plan is genuinely usable. You do get so many credits each month. So you got to kind of watch your credits. The more you regenerate, the more credits you are using. And some exports may have a watermark, but you can absolutely try it out. Create real stuff without spending a dime. So if you find yourself loving it and creating a lot, the paid plan gives you more credits, no watermark, and more storage. And you know what? Let's just dive in. Okay. So when you log in to Gamma, you're going to see a dashboard. And you'll see several things on your dashboard. To start something new, obviously, you're going to click on the new button, and then you're going to have a choice from there. And you're going to hear me clicking here because I'm doing this as I go to make sure I'm giving you the correct instructions. You've got 4 different options to choose from once you click on new. You can generate from a prompt. You can paste in text, so notes, outline, existing content. Maybe you're just updating a presentation. You could even just copy that content and plug that in. You could create from a template, so using a certain structure or layouts from the template, or you can import a file or URL. So if you have a document that has the outline, you've got a Google slide that you started and you're like, I want to see if Game I can do better. Or maybe you've just got a web page that has all the information. You want to turn that into a presentation. All of those things work. Now we're going to start specifically just with generate from a prompt. Okay. And so once you click on that, a text box will pop up, and this is where you type in your prompt. Remember our AI tip from earlier, be specific. Instead of make a lesson, about fractions, you want to type, how many slides, what grade level it is for, or, if you're teaching adults, if you're teaching teachers, whatever your audience is, their experience level, their skill level, and any of those other things. You may even want to tag in some standards. Now, here's the thing I want you to remember with prompting inside Gamma versus using some of the other tools that are specifically made for education. You will notice when you sign up for Gamma, they ask you how you plan on using it. And they want to know if you're an educator. I think, they're just like everybody else, gathering some data. This is not a tool made specifically for educators. It's, it's open to businesses and all kinds of things. So I was very curious when I saw that, how it would interpret my prompting that was sort of educator speak. And it did okay. But that may mean you just want to train it a little bit more to understand what things mean. So if you're asking for, say, add an exit ticket at the end, to be specific, that I would think an exit ticket is a 5-minute or less activity. And when I tried this before, one of my exit ticket options was like a 20-minute activity. To me, that's not an exit ticket. So just keep that in mind as you're digging in. Yet again, kind of just coming back to the importance of that prompt. And so then you just hit go and Gamma builds it. So for today's purposes, I'm going to get a little meta here for you. And no, I don't mean Facebook, but I want to create a 10-slide presentation for K-12 teachers on how to use Gamma to create classroom lessons and materials. Include tips and tricks, keep it practical. Now, the first thing that Gamma is going to do after the prompt is generate the outline. Now, in the prompt, I did say 10 slides, and I mostly just did that so I'm not eating up a lot of my credits. I hardly ever have a slide presentation that's only 10 slides. Gamma also calls these cards. So up at the top, you'll see 4 different drop-down menus where you can select if you want 10 cards, which is, by the way, the most you can get in the free account anyway. And then you can choose if you want classic or studio, which studio is only for the paid version. And then the card size, if you want to keep them at a default, which is fluid, meaning it adjusts the size based on how much content is on the card, not just filling the box like we're used to in slides. Or you can go traditional in those 16:9 aspect ratio slides like we have in PowerPoint and slides, or you can do a 4:3 aspect ratio. I know it's nitty gritty here. I'm sticking with default. I'm sticking with English. I do also want to mention, even though I am doing generate by prompt, by default, the first option is presentation. But up at the top, I could have also selected web page, document, social, or graphic. Okay, we're sticking with presentation. That's kind of the point of this. And then we click on that generate outline. So before you progress into actually using a lot of those credits to do the design part of it, it gives you a chance to make sure you like the title, you like what's on each card. Is the content correct? Is this what you're looking for? Or you can make adjustments to your prompt and regenerate. You can even go into each individual card and make some changes there. Look it over, see if the content is right. And then when you are ready, slide on down to customize your gamma. And this is where you decide, do you want minimal, concise, detailed, or extensive? And be careful with this because depending on the purpose of your presentation, you don't want to overcrowd it with too much text, right? Think best practices for presentations. Now, do we sometimes use this as a resource as opposed to just, a true presentation format? Absolutely. And sometimes we need more text. I know with my presentations, a lot of times I do add more text because that is the takeaway for the teachers. So when they go back after my presentation and they're trying to go back through, that it makes sense as opposed to, oh, there's only 3 words on this slide. I don't know what this means, right? So keep that in mind. Again, your purpose. I'm going to go with concise. Although I will tell you in the past, concise has been a little bit long in terms of how much text it puts on the screen. Then you can select a theme. Keep in mind best practices, dark text on a light background or light text on a dark background are kind of those best practices. You want it to be legible. You get into too many colors and it really can affect the way that visually that people can actually read it. Image source. Do you want the images to be AI images? Do you want to pull from stock photos? You've got a lot of different options. You can even put animated GIFs. You know what? I've never done the GIFs. I'm going to do the GIFs this time. I'm going to see what it does. And then when I'm ready, I click on the generate down at the bottom. And you can watch it in real time, similar to how you watch, say, ChatGPT or Gemini spitting out the text. Only you're watching it design in real time. So this one does, it's creating this. It's doing things like design elements where there are 3 big call outs on a slide and it puts them in boxes, and it's creating headings. It's adding images. It's numbering things. It's putting infographic style information in here. It's doing all kinds of things right before my eyes, and it's done. Okay, I talked all the way through that so you would know how fast this actually created all 10 slides. So you can scroll through this. I don't like looking at this view first. I prefer to click on present, which is in the top right, just kind of like it is everywhere else, and just go through the presentation itself to get an idea of what this looks like. So interesting enough, my GIFs did not load. And I don't know if that's a glitch or what. I've never chosen that before. But I will tell you, in previous generations that I have done, I've had everything from graphics to photos and kind of everything in between. Sometimes they look a little too AI generated for me, and we'll ask them to tweak that. But here we go. Gamma for Educators, Creating Engaging Lessons in Minutes. That's the title it came up with for me. Okay, that's fine. I'll go address the image issue in a minute. Talking about the problem, the teacher's time crunch, time loss, design barrier, the fix. Okay, so we spend hours formatting slides instead of teaching. Not every teacher's a graphic designer, and Gamma automates the hard parts for you. And then we have a slide, what is Gamma? It's kind of broken into 3 different points here with icons for each. AI-powered generation, details, no skills needed, details, free to start, and the details of that. So then we have getting started. 3 ways to create. Prompt-based, paste in your text or import your file. I like this. This is good. I would be interested to see what it does in terms of screenshots. Now, my style of presentation often requires that I include things like screenshots or even GIFs and videos of screens, because that's so much of what I teach. And that would probably require me to do that separately and put those in there. I don't imagine that's something that Gamma can do just yet, but hold your horses because I bet it's coming. Yeah, it says there was an error in generating the image. So I'm guessing the GIFs thing is not quite ready for prime time yet, but I'm very interested to see what that could come up with. Our next slide says, make it yours. Gamma's AI output is a starting point, not the finish line. Every element is fully editable. And that's about, where we are going to experience this now. We can edit the content, swap the visuals, and apply themes. And then it also goes beyond slides. Interactive content. So you can embed media, drop in YouTube videos, TikToks, GIFs, or Spotify playlists directly into your lesson. You can add quizzes. So you can do it from Microsoft Forms, Blooket, or Kahoot. I'm pretty sure I've seen Google Forms in there too. It may have just not added that in this particular call out. And collaborate. Invite colleagues to co-edit projects in real time. And that is perfect for team lesson planning. And then some practical use cases. So introduce new topics to students, review material, skills practice, all the things that you would use a slide presentation for. Tips and tricks for teachers. Number 1, be specific. With your prompts. There it is again. Instead of photosynthesis, try photosynthesis for 6th graders with a diagram and review questions. Number 2, iterate and refine. Rarely perfect on the first try, and that's okay. Edit, adjust, and build on. And then plan your credits. So, maximize those 400 credits that you get in your free account. And you can also embed the Gamma links directly into your LMS, whether that's Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology, etc. And our next slide says Gamma's impact on the classroom. A little bit of I'd say infographic style. It didn't actually add any graphics, just the way it designed the numbers. So 10x faster creation, 3x more engagement, and then the 400 credits. And the bottom line, less time on design, more time on teaching. Okay, this is good. This is a starting point. Ready to transform your lessons. 3 steps. Sign up for free, try your first prompt, and share and reflect. And there are my 10 slides. Okay, so real quick, I want to talk editing. So once we get in here, now that I know I have an issue with my images, I can select that just like you would select anything in Slides or PowerPoint or wherever you are. Select the object, the text box, whatever it is. And you're going to see some little menu options that pop up. One is edit. So you can edit the image and instead, so I selected GIFs from Jiffy and maybe I want to go to change this to AI generated and I want it to be a photo style and click generate. So I can now fix that problem with my image and select the picture, I think. And let's see if it's in there. Now it's in there. Okay, easy fix. Very quick, in fact. And the picture's pretty good. It might be a little overkill in terms of the the illustration of technology in the classroom a little less. And I don't know about you. I know there are lots of male listeners, and please don't take this the wrong way, but it's such a female-dominated field that it really just irritates me sometimes that so much of the stock photography is not a female. So shout out to all my ladies in there. We are together, but yeah, I digress. The teacher's time crunch, we've got lots of things. We've got little text boxes in here. All you have to do is click on it. You can edit the text. You can regenerate. You can also go up to the top and go to your agent. And if you open up your agent, you'll see kind of that history you just had with the entire generation process. And this is where you can ask it globally to make changes to the whole thing. So I edited the image separately. But if I wanted to, I was like, this is not it. I need to change the whole thing. I could change the whole thing here. There's also a drop down next to agent. And so I could also have it edit all cards and just make it longer, make it shorter, improve the writing, fix the spelling and grammar, translate it, lots of different things, simplify the language, all right there. Up at the top, you also can go into themes. So if you're not happy with the theme that it chose, and I think themes are a little bit limited in the free one. And then you have your share button where you can go in and find various ways to share it, export it, publish it, embed it. All of those things are right there. And your present button also has a drop down. So you can present in this tab, full screen, and go into presenter view. So if you want to use those notes. But once you select your cards, you also have like a film strip view that you can see on the side. You can add notes to each one, again, that you would be able to see in your presenter view, and just continue to edit and do lots of things. There is also a 3 dots menu all the way in the top right next to whatever image you have in your account. And that's where you can go into your settings. You can add things to your favorites. There's version history, page setup, comments, publish to site. So if you wanted to turn this into a full-blown website, you can duplicate it. And, so if you need to make multiple versions for different classes, you can do that as well. Save it as a template. That's a pro feature, it looks like. But y'all, I really, really think this tool is fantastic. And I will probably continue talking about it and sharing more tips, but let me know what your questions are. What do you want me to demonstrate? Do you want a YouTube tutorial? Would that be useful? I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, bless your heart for staying with me today and walking through this with me. So to wrap it all up, Gamma is a tool that takes the design work off your plate so you can focus on the content. It's definitely not going to replace you anytime soon, and it's not going to think for you, but it is going to save you hours, depending on how many hours you spend on creating presentations. If that is something you do a lot of, it is going to save you tons of time. So start with the free plan. Play around with it, paste in something you've already written, see what Gamma does with it. I think you're going to be genuinely impressed. And I have my Gamma link below. You can go to shakeuplearning.com/Gamma to sign up and get that free account and try it out. And it is, of course, linked below in the show notes and in the show notes on our website at shakeuplearning.com/248. Now, if you try Gamma, I'd love to know what you created first. Come find me on social media or leave me a review for the podcast and tell me. I read them all. And y'all, the show is just for you. I really want to know what you think. Was this useful? And I'm so grateful that you are sticking around and stayed all the way till the end. Thank you so much. Until next time, y'all go shake up learning.
Thanks for listening to the Shake Up Learning Show. Keep up with every new episode by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher, and by visiting shakeuplearningshow.com. And get in on the conversation on Twitter by using the Shake Up Learning hashtag. Until next time, remember to always be dynamic and shake up learning.
Hey there, feel free to join me for closing prayer. Father God, thank you for each and every person who is listening right now. I pray, Lord, that whatever they are facing, the chaos of the end of the school year, the summer plans, whatever it is that is overwhelming them right now, Lord, that you would just take that burden on and that you would help them and carry them through this season. And I pray, Lord, that you will help us to always do what's best for the kids in and outside of our classrooms. In your precious name I pray. Amen.